Today's topic is super important because I believe that it might be the number one killer that's affecting all of us, including younger people, even teenagers, it's affecting them. Now, years ago, when someone would ask me what the number one killer was, I would say heart disease, since that's what the statistics say, or how the number one silent killer is high blood pressure. And in recent times, many experts may even say that the number one causing factor of poor health, or just even eventually death, is just being overweight or obese. All of these factors are physically based and thus measurable, and thus, why it's easy to arrive at these conclusions because it's measurable, it's physical. But what about what you cannot measure? Your mindset or your emotions. So these days, when someone asks me what the number one killer is, I tell them stress. In fact, the World Health Organization, WHO, has now stated that stress is an epidemic. That means it's affecting all of us around the world. According to the American Institute of Stress, about 75 to 90% of doctor visits are stress related. About 33% of people report extreme stress on a daily basis, not just once in a while or weekly, but that's daily. It's extreme. 64%, that's 2 out of 3 people, have trouble sleeping because of stress. 73%, that's 3 out of 4 people, have stress that negatively affects their mental health and happiness. And finally, 77% have stress that negatively affects their physical health. Sadly, these days, stress affects people of all ages. In fact, stress is the number one health concern of teenagers. And let's be honest, the past 2 years with the whole pandemic and the face mask and the social distancing has made all of this much worse. I think you get the point. So the old adage or saying that stress kills might very well be true. At the very least, it certainly accelerates aging from head to toe, inside and out. Don't get me wrong, stress has many benefits and it's required for survival. And it's just a part of life, right? There's no way to get around it. For example, when you get emotionally stressed or need to physically run away from something, or maybe to slam on the brakes on your car to prevent an accident or just something similar, your body's stress levels shoot up to protect you. For example, your blood sugar increases so your brain and muscles can react faster. Your blood pressure goes up to give you more power and oxygen. Your adrenaline and similar quote-unquote fight or flight hormones shoot up to get you super focused and stronger. Your body even starts to clot faster, your blood clots faster, just in case you do get into an accident or get cut or get injured so you don't bleed to death. Now, this is fine if it was acute, meaning once in a while, like how animals are in the wild or how we used to be hundreds and thousands of years ago. Unfortunately, these days, we are being stressed out all day long in modern society. You have dozens of more responsibilities these days. Personally, I always feel like I'm being pulled in a dozen different directions all day long. It's never ending. And at the end of the day, I feel like my to-do list just keeps growing and growing. So basically, you feel overwhelmed and hopeless, which is, again, very stressful. And if the fault isn't other people or external factors such as work, we also cause self-induced stress by being connected to the internet all day long, with our phones. We're constantly dealing with texts and messengers and phone calls and various social media pings and news outlets and so on and so forth. Now, it's been estimated that people check their phones over 100 times a day. In fact, within 10 minutes of waking up in the morning, and in fact, within 5 minutes of any notification. Basically, we don't relax, except maybe during sleep, which these days for most people is just poor quality and low quantity. Thus, we keep adding to the stress and don't do anything to reduce it. We don't enjoy the outdoors or maybe some alone time, being completely disconnected from modern devices. We also don't eat well, which adds to the stress. And all this makes getting proper sleep quantity and quality very difficult, which of course further increases stress hormones. Thus, most of us are in a chronic state of stress, and this is the problem. Now, this means that temporary stress-related fight or flight mechanism that's there to be used to protect us is now happening all day long. We are basically in survival mode all the time. Now you know why most people are dealing with high blood pressure and blood sugar problems all the time. Why so many people feel anxiety or feel depressed or feel alone or lonely even when among other people. Why it's so hard to lose fat and why you're constantly craving, carbohydrates and sugars and fats and salt, all of which help actually lower cortisol and stress hormones, and that's why you keep craving it. And why most people are tired all the time and thus consume some form of caffeine daily just to get through the day, like coffee or tea or energy drinks and even soda for the kids. And why so many people have aches and pains due to the inflammation caused by chronic stress. So what's the point to all this? Well, stress does kill and it does accelerate aging. It's linked to most health problems, mentally and physically, and things are only getting worse. So what's the solution? I mean, you can't stop stressful situations from happening and we can't change the world. However, you can make minor changes in your lifestyle that will make big improvements in lowering your stress, which will make dramatic improvements in your health, fitness, and longevity. I want you to continue on and watch the next video entitled The 10 Best Clinically Proven Ways to Naturally Lower Stress and Cortisol Levels. And I've put the direct link to that video below in the description area. And I've listed one of my favorite ways to quickly lower stress hormones in just a few minutes.